Tucked away in Southern California stands a Victorian home that feels untouched by time, offering a glimpse into how the Gilded Age unfolded here in California. Built in 1891, the Heritage House in Riverside is one of the best preserved Queen Anne Victorians on the West Coast, lovingly restored by a community who refused to let its story fade. Inside, nearly every detail has been carefully preserved to reflect its original 1890s splendor, giving us a peek into how California's Gilded Age came alive through design and craftsmanship. Hi, I'm Allie, and welcome back to Fab Little Dish, where we celebrate vintage homes, timeless design, and the stories that keep their history alive. Today, we're stepping inside a home that embodies the innovation and elegance that defined California's Gilded Age. We'll tour its rooms, uncover the legacy of the woman who built it, and see how community preservation continues to keep history alive, one house at a time. And please make sure to hit thumbs up if you love historic home tours. It helps others discover the beauty and history of each home we share here on the channel. The home was built for Catherine Bettner, widow of citrus pioneer James Bettner, who died in 1888 from Bright's disease. After his death, Catherine built this house not just as her next residence, but as a fresh start and a new project to throw herself into. Catherine made a bold choice here. She built her home right on Magnolia Avenue, setting the tone for what would become Riverside's most prestigious address. And the orange trees surrounding the property, they're more than just decoration. They symbolize the industry that made Riverside the wealthiest city per capita in America during the citrus boom. As soon as you step inside, the grandeur is immediate. Soaring 14-foot ceilings, 10-foot doors, and intricate oak woodwork that's never been painted or refinished, all original to the late 1800s. Catherine was known for her elegant gatherings, but you couldn't just show up for her social events. You'd have to wait for her to announce it in the local paper or leave a calling card at the door. Guests were received for short visits, maybe about 15 minutes, chatting by the fire or listening to music from the piano in the next room. It was a ritual of refinement, and this entryway was absolutely meant to impress. Even the floors are the same ones that Catherine Bettner once walked on, a reminder of the quality and craftsmanship that defined this home right from the start. Just beside the staircase is this incredible spindlework screen, a Queen Anne signature detail that divides the hall from the front parlor while still letting light pass through. The carved ovals and turned spindles were meant to impress guests the moment they entered the home, showing off both fine materials and the skill of local craftsmen at the time. The front parlor is where Catherine Bettner would have received her guests. Unlike the dark, heavy parlors typical of the Victorian era, this room feels surprisingly bright and refined, more neoclassical in style with pale tones, elegant symmetry, and gilded touches that hint at French influence. The fireplace immediately draws your eye in. The tile work shows a classical figure surrounded by birds, a motif from the aesthetic movement meant to symbolize peace and beauty within the home. These richly glazed tiles were imported, reflecting Catherine's taste for art and design beyond California's borders. The fireplace itself burned coal rather than wood, a modern convenience that was becoming fashionable among wealthier households at the time. It's easy to picture this space alive with conversation. This was a room made for company, sunlight, conversation, and quiet elegance all meeting in one space. And just look at these pocket doors with their original ornate hardware. I always try to spot these in the Victorian homes we tour because I love their practical design. Just open the parlor doors to the dining room for guests and slide them shut for privacy, and it almost creates a better flow for the entire lower level of the home. The dining room is one of the most breathtaking spaces in the house. Rich wood paneling, embossed wallpaper, and that incredible coffered ceiling, catching the light just right. Everything about this room was meant to impress. Formal dinners here were elaborate occasions, complete with printed menus listing every course. The table would be beautifully set with fine china, crystal, and silver, many of the pieces still original to the Bettner family. The fireplace in this room is a showpiece and mimics the tile work from the previous fireplace, a great example of carrying one design element from one room into another. The circular stands in front aren't purely decorative. They're fireplace screens, meant to shield guests from heat while they dined. Catherine was well ahead of her time. She couldn't stand the smell of tobacco in her home, so she added a small patio just off this room where guests could step outside to smoke. When electricity was still a novelty, Catherine made sure her home was ready for it, making this one of the first houses in Riverside to be wired for electric. It's those little choices that show how Catherine balanced innovation with elegance. Moving upstairs, the energy of the home changes. The spaces become quieter, more personal, each room offering a glimpse into Catherine's private world. Connected to her bedroom, this library was her retreat, a space for solitude and reflection. The carved oak bookcase still holds the kinds of titles she loved, all about art, travel, and horticulture. In the corner, the phonograph sits ready to play, one of the newest innovations of the late 19th century. The Japanese screen with mother-of-pearl inlay adds a global touch that feels perfectly at home here. Proof that international design trends had found their way to the West. It's easy to picture Catherine in here during the evenings. The lamplight flickering against the wallpaper, the faint rustle of pages, and the sound of orange trees swaying outside her window. This was Catherine's bedroom, the most private space in the home, and one that still feels calm and intentional. The room is filled with soft, feminine touches, lace curtains, floral wallpaper, and calm tones. Upstairs lacks the heavy oak paneling that we saw downstairs, but Catherine compensated with textiles and light. Every element here, from the delicate lace to the portraits that once hung on these walls, echoes a woman rebuilding her life through memory and grace. Along this wall is a built-in, full-length mirror that tilts, a smart late Victorian dressing feature so Catherine could see her whole outfit from head to toe. It's placed to catch the window light, which makes the room feel even brighter. And looking up, you'll find a small plastered cherub, one of those playful Victorian touches that softens the room's edges and ties in with the floral wallpaper so beautifully. This was the guest room, designed to make visitors feel comfortable after a long journey west. Back in the Victorian era, traveling from the East Coast to Riverside by train could take close to a month, 4 to 6 weeks to be exact, so guests often stayed several weeks, sometimes even the whole season. Catherine's nieces would often visit, and she'd help introduce them into Riverside's growing social circles, arranging invitations to teas, musical evenings, and the city's best gatherings. The room itself has a welcoming feel, with warm wood tones, lace curtains, and soft light pouring in through the tall windows. It's easy to picture her guests here, unpacking their trunks, writing letters home, and settling into the rhythm of life in California's high society in Riverside. Towards the back of the upstairs hall is the servants' room. Catherine's main house servant was a young Chinese man, and letters later found from him describe how proud he was to have a private room here, which was rare for domestic staff at the time. It's a small space, but it reflects Catherine's sense of respect for the people who helped run her home. For 1891, this bathroom was surprisingly advanced, complete with running water, a clawfoot tub, and a flushing toilet made by John Douglas, which is actually where the term "the John" comes from. Details like this are just a little reminder for how modern this home actually was for its time. Outside, the rest of the story unfolds. The carriage house is original to the estate and once held the family's horses and carriages. The pump house and windmill were later added to show what a typical citrus ranch of the 1890s would have looked like. Together, these outbuildings honor Riverside's agricultural roots, a reminder of how the city's past still shapes its beauty today. The more we celebrate these spaces, the longer they'll stand and be remembered. Homes like this survive because people care enough to keep them alive. And every time you visit, watch, or share videos like this, you become part of that story. If you loved exploring the Heritage House, please give this video a big thumbs up and make sure to subscribe so we can keep uncovering homes that deserve to be remembered. Until the next one, my friends, keep celebrating the beauty of vintage home. Au revoir.